Hey, I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. I'm laughing. I've done like 4 takes. I can't. Very unusual. All right. Got a couple beauties today. Now, for those, if you don't know what, if you don't know a whole lot about peppers, if you look at the thumbnail of this video, you're going to say, hey, he's going to eat a yellow pod, he's going to eat a red pod. The red one's smaller. But there's great significance in these peppers. This is a 7-pot Primo. This is the name of the pepper. 7-pot Primo, created by Troy Primo, okay? Now, this pepper, the Scoville units are about $1.4 million, almost $1.5 million, pretty much $1.5 million for this pepper, all right? Uncle Bull Cow grew these. Thank you, Uncle Bull Cow. This pepper is a gorgeous yellow Fatalii, okay? Now, yellow Fatalii is somewhere between 125, they can go as high as 400,000 Scoville units, or about 160 times hotter, this pepper is, than a jalapeno, okay? Now, the significance of these peppers aren't that one's red, one's yellow, one's bigger, one's smaller. Here's the deal. A really cool chili head named Chris Saunders in the UK, what he did was he took this pepper, and he crossed them. Here's the funny thing. I think conventional logic, right? For most people that are like, well, if you take the 2 hottest peppers and you cross them, you're gonna have a hotter one, right? I used to think that totally. Not the case, because Chris Saunders in the UK crossed this with this, and the pepper that he came up with was a pepper that he called a Primotali. Primo Fatali. Primotali. So when you cross this pepper, which is only like $1.4 million, almost $1.5 million, and you cross it with this, which is a lot less in heat, half the heat, a third the heat, something special happens. You create a pepper that is so vicious and so evil and so hot. It's funny, you can't make the Primotali without a 7-pot Primo. And recently I ate Troy's Louisiana Creeper, which is as hot as Primotaliis are. So Troy's got something going on. Anyway, Uncle Bull Cow grew these, so I thought it'd be fun to eat both of the peppers that created the parents for the Primotali, which is kind of cool. So this is sort of like a big head nod to Chris Saunders, because I'll tell you what, I've said this in other videos, the hottest chocolate pot I've ever eaten happens to be a chocolate Primotali. The hottest red pot I've ever eaten happens to be a red Primotali. The hottest yellow pot I've ever eaten happens to be a yellow Primotali. It's kind of a crazy thing. So it's a great pepper. Now, what makes it so different is it hits really hard. It's just, some peppers are hot and they, like the Creeper, Louisiana Creeper, it's hot right up front. I mean, it's hotter than most peppers, but it really takes a little bit to build, and then it gets crazy. The capsaicin that's in this, there's different types of capsaicin. The capsaicin in this is different than this, and when you couple them together, you get the heat from this, but the way it attacks comes from this. So it's just a very violent burn. You're probably thinking like, what does he mean by violent burn? You'll have one day and you'll say, oh my gosh, that was a violent burn. And you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the first pepper. I probably won't take a picture of the insides unless it looks, let me get my phone ready just in case. For those new to the show, this is kind of how it goes. Yep, yeah, I gotta take a picture of that. Sorry, take just a second. A lot of folks that have just joined the channel don't know that I have a Instagram account. So, if you want to see some interior shots and some really amazing pictures of some great peppers and a lot of stuff that isn't always pepper related, yeah, I'm glad I took pictures of these. Go to my Instagram, which is _Johnny Scoville. That's on Instagram. All right, I'm done. Sorry. Apologize for that. People that are new going like, does he do that all the time? The people that are here, like, yeah, he does it all the time. Here's the interior of the yellow Fatalii. Just a absolutely gorgeous pepper. Very symmetrical, dual veins running up both sides of the entire pod. There's the placenta in the center, that spongy part. That's where the heat lives. There's no heat in seeds. You see the wall lining, especially like right here, it's glistening. Those are capsaicin oil. It's capsaicin oils that are making that shine. Smells fruity. Ah, it just smells really fruity and delicious. You know what? Turn your smell-o-vision on. If you're brand new, you don't have it. You need to go to the App Store, download smell-o-vision. It's one word. Sometimes people try to spell it with hyphens. It's all one word, no hyphens. But turn your smell-o-vision on. You can see it clearly and you smell it. You smell that real fruitiness, kind of fruity. You can definitely tell there's heat in the aroma, but it doesn't have that same aroma that like a super hot. This is not a super hot. Oh, anything over like 1 million is a super hot. This is, like I said, only about 125 to 400. But here's the Yellow Fatalii. Thank you, Bull Cow. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. Wow. It was very fruity. There was slight floral notes, which is kind of flowery, kind of slight floral notes. But the perfect combination to me is a little bit of floral with a little bit of bitterness. They couple together, and those two flavors, for me personally, I really like that. And that pepper was floral up front. And then as I chewed it, it was a big pepper, it took a while. It kind of, the floral notes kind of blended with bitter and kind of evolved into some bitter notes. And then the finish was just beautiful, just great pepper flavor. All right, now it's not a super hot. It isn't. It's still very hot. 125,000 to 400,000. Jalapeno is only like 6 or something. So it's definitely a hot pepper. You guys think if a jalapeno is hot to you, imagine something 160 times hotter. That's what this one is. Now here is the 7 Pot Primo. Sometimes you get a seed stuck in your teeth and it burns. It's not because the seed's hot, it's because it's coated with capsaicin oils. So it sits there and it kind of burns. Here is the 7 Pot Primo. This is a really legend. By the way, if you look at the banner of Chase the Heat, that pepper, that's this pepper, grown by this, the man who created it. Here's the interior of this one. Look at how thick that placenta is there. It's solid. And on this side, it's equally as gnarly. All right, so now this smells very different. Certainly smells fruity, but you can tell by the aroma that this is a lot hotter pepper. All right, so this is the 7 Pot Primo. And by the way, I saw in the comments somebody said, why do they call it seven pot? It's just, I don't know if there's any truth. I don't think there's any truth to it. But pepper is so hot that one pepper, one pod, 7 pot, one pod can heat 7 pots of chili. Not 7 bowls, like little bowls, but 7 pots from one pepper. I don't know. Cool name though. So here we go. Here's the interior one more time. I'll go slowly so the camera doesn't bug out. There you go. There's the interior of that beautiful little pepper. No, you didn't do. Hold on a minute. The first pepper, I didn't tell you where it was burning. It was burning mostly my tongue and the sides of my cheek, on the inside of my cheek, my mouth. So that was where it was burning. The heat level For a non-chili, it'd be really a problem. If you're somebody who likes hot stuff, that's going to be somewhere between if you're really a hardcore chili, you can probably say it's a 4 or 5, up to like a 7 or 8. It's not a 9 or 10 pepper. But now the 7 Pot Primo that I just ate, that was it was fruity. There was no floral notes in it at all. A little bit of bitterness. Sometimes bitterness is one of the. It's a very common note of flavor in super hots. So the pepper is burning my throat. Now the first pepper burned my tongue and the sides of my cheek. That pepper is scalding me. That's a hot pepper. It's still climbing too. Very interesting how peppers burn in different places and they had different characteristics. Like it was kind of the fatali. Let me tell you what I was expecting. I was expecting it to hit really, really hard. It didn't do that. So it's something weird when you put the 2 peppers I just ate together and you breathe them, cross them. You come out with the primitali, which is just so hot and so quick and so vicious. I thought it would have been a more abrupt burn in the fatali, since that's what kind of the effect it has on the 7 Pot. But it didn't really do that. Nonetheless, the flavors on both of them were good. I actually like the flavor of the second one better. And the reason is there were no floral notes at all. It was just really fruity. And listen, if you want to taste the stuff that I taste, get your tolerance up. If your tolerance is lower, what ends up happening is you just get overrun with pain. And when you're in pain and you're feeling all kinds of pain in your mouth, you can't put that okay, we'll put that on hold for a second. Stop thinking about the pain. And let's just think about the flavors. You can't do that. Your brain doesn't work like that. It's focusing on the pain and that's it. So what happens is that your tolerance gets higher. Certainly always going to hurt. No question about it. But it doesn't hurt me like it would hurt. Like when I was brand new at this, if I ate those 2 peppers, I wouldn't have tasted the things I told you about just now, because I would have been overrun with pain. So if you want to taste the flavors and the stuff that I'm describing to you, get your tolerance up. I'm not making it up. Other people who have high tolerances will tell you the same thing about the flavor of peppers. You will taste more. All kinds of subtleties and really interesting things in peppers the higher your tolerance gets. It doesn't destroy your taste buds. All right, so those peppers were from Uncle Bull Cow. Great dude. Just a really good guy. And those 2 peppers together create the primitali. In the description box, you will see a link for Uncle Bull Cow. Check him out. He makes great challenges like this one, which I'll be doing soon. I might take this with me to Ohio and do this up at Jungle Jim's. This could be a hotel challenge. I think I might do that. If you don't want to miss a video, don't click the bell for notification. That's how you get on board. Right there is my brother's channel, Tommy. It's his channel about sobriety. It's called The Lifeboat. If you or somebody you know has an issue, please check it out. Life's too short. Right there, more videos. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this was Chase the Heat.